Welcome, everybody, to Life is for Living with David Riddell. I'm your host, Kylee Buckley. Today, I want to talk to you about, David, emotional health and how that works out in our body. Like if we're stressed, how that works. Because I know for me, many years ago, through my business, and I went through a divorce, life I went through, and my father died at the same time. I got really sick through stress, and I got an autoimmune disease, and my adrenals weren't functioning. And how? What's the connection? How does that work? I know that's stress can make you sick. So can you talk us through how that is, how that works, and ways to help ourselves when we're going through stressful situations?
Yeah, I'd like to talk about truth as a medicine.
Okay.
So, because we are also physical bodies, not just spiritual, medical science assures us that our attitude can either support our physical health or even undermine it. And sometimes, dare I say it, to the point of a premature death. I
Mm.
have been to the funerals of more than one or two people whom I consider died under the load of poor mental health. In my life, I've attended many funerals of people that I think died prematurely due to a body that was essentially poisoned by a wrong attitude. Now, a merry heart does good like a medicine, but a broken spirit dries out the bones as expressed in Jewish wisdom approximately 3,000 years ago. So this is not a new truth. And while truth is the most confronting factor in human existence, it is also, I believe, the most comforting factor, but known as a comforter to so few people.
Mm.
And if it be the most comforting, then the lack of it, the presence of untruth or lies, must also be the most stressing. And evidence has repeatedly proved that emotional stress can invoke disease, particularly psychosomatic disorders such as bowel, colonic, adrenal, heart, and allergic disorders, and latterly, more so, many kinds of new autoimmune slash inflammatory conditions.
Mm.
And I wonder if you're okay with what I'm saying here as statements which actually reflect our reality. Because if my preceding statements are true, and 70 years of observing life on this planet assures me that they do, that they are, then they are the truth and not a lie. And in a world of lies, this verification is important in order for trust to safely grow. And if we agree that I have spoken truthfully, then my next statement bears considerable consideration. That we are, in short, our character. For attitude, practiced repeatedly over long periods of time, becomes cast into character. And we know from scripture the maxim that one's character is becoming one's destiny. Our Latin motto for the Living Wisdom School reads, Meus character es meus fatum. And a character is a world of its own. This is translated as our character is becoming our fate. It is our perception. It is our planet. It is a total virtual reality for the person living within it. It is made up of mind, of will, of emotion, of habits and addictions, beliefs and mistaken beliefs, self-talk and default moods, all practiced to habitualized perfection. And that's the problem, because this character of mine is not perfect. But, and here's the crisis point I'm here to warn you about, the perfect is coming.
Mm.
Call it the second coming of Christ, or call it the bright light at the end of the tunnel, if you will. Call it the last trumpet. or call it the removal of the veil, it all amounts to the same thing. The day when all morally aware beings will have their own self-creation judged, the character which they and they alone are responsible for. The day of judgment of the Jewish wisdom books, when characters are gathered into the valley of decision and finally harvested, is what this is all about. The day that all the prophets and apostles have warned us about, every one of them. The day when nothing is hidden, all is revealed, and there is no place, no delusion to hide in any longer. The day when denial will cease, excuses will melt away, survival kits will be redundant, and the defense mechanisms that we have clung to and hidden behind all of our lives will all be torn away from us. The persona is torn from the essential person. The persona we have lived behind our entire lives, the performance from the player. All are left naked before the blinding light of reality. All is exposed, both the good and the evil. In every near-death experience I've ever studied, people testify to a blindingly clear vision of reality where nothing is hidden and all thoughts are known. And the character ripeness of all people is complete. From personas we have lived behind to the essential I, from the performance is torn the player. And I often think of that were the words of Christ where he said, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. I paraphrase that. Where your treasure is, there you will be superglued. And as a result of that, you will share in the fate of your treasure. And so I do ask my clients, what is your treasure? In spiritual direction, I ask, what is the thing that has fascinated you in your life? That becomes your treasure. And hopefully it's not a cat or a dog or a car or a farm or a house or your wardrobe or your collection of teaspoons. Hopefully it's something that can go with you and be for your soul's peace throughout. That's a challenge. We are eternal creatures. We must consider eternity even as we are constructing it week by week and day by day, decision by decision, and word by word. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So I do consider my words because I know that by them I am edified and I edify others, or by them I am defiled and I in turn defile others. So in Living Wisdom, we play for keeps, Kylee. I don't know how you feel about that, but you got a dose of it not so long ago, and it seems to have done you good.
Really good. I've come back for more.
It's like it.
How can I keep David in my life? Because I need to know more. I do, and I want to grow more. You know, like I came to faith like 2010. And I ended up, and I was a businesswoman. I had a number of companies and I was doing very nicely. And you know what? I just thought I've got my ladder up against the wrong wall, you know, and Father, if you really exist and you made this beautiful world, you can show me. And it's been an amazing journey of discovery through ancient books and texts and Hebrew and Pictology and all sorts of things. But you know what? You said something to me when I was up there in Nelson. You said to me, that you know a lot of these things too, and I know that you do because I've seen some of your books there about the Lord's ways. But you said to me, I could teach people all these things, but if they, at the end of the day, it's their character, and if they go, when they pass on, I could have taught them how to correct their character to be better people and to actually be better stewards in the kingdom of God. Instead of knowing all these things, teach them their mind. And and I just thought, you know, I've got a YouTube channel on the Sabbath and the like, and I've had that for a number of years. And I've done podcasts into America, to Zen Garcia with ancient texts and things that I've discovered. Well, what does any of that matter if my character isn't complete? And how can I bring this? This is actually of greater value. And it's like Yahusha said, which is commonly known as Jesus. Yahusha said in the Gnostic texts, how do you, there's two things. First, how do you know the end if you don't know the beginning? And the other thing is too, oh gosh, it's just going to move on. Basically that, when you know who you are, when you really know who you are, great things you will do. And you only know who you are when you know the truth of who you are, and you know the truth of the things that you're doing that are wrong. Your thinking is wrong. Get it right, and challenge yourself to get it right, to be the best person that we are. Then great things we will do.
I think of the brain. There is nothing more complex in the universe than the brain. And there is no scientist that can get their head around how all of the synaptic junctions of the brain work. But what's it all in aid of, Kylee? The answer is it is all that our character would become our destiny. Mm-hmm. There's nothing in the Bible or in the world that contradicts that statement. There is nothing more important than the formation of character in life or in the next life.
Yes. And the other thing too is our world is hurting. You know, youth suicide is through the roof. I had a young lady come to board here who had 8 friends in the last 14 months commit suicide. She was just turning 21. 8. I mean, really? We've got to do something about that, you know. So I thought we need to level with people. We need to meet people where they're at and help them to get the help that they need, because we're all...
That's why I strongly disagree with people who say the truth hurts. I say, on the contrary, it'll never hurt you. It'll be the most reassuring, reinforcing, comforting thing you ever come across. The only thing that truth hurts is lies and deception and despair, depression and discouragement. Truth is very tough on those qualities.
Yeah. Well, I can vouch that the truth sets you free, because I don't think in my life I've ever felt so good and so free and so complete. And I'm just...
Your own mind must be becoming your friend, eh?
Yeah, it is. I question everything now, and I love everything.
Good to hear.
I was very fearful, actually. I didn't know it. Terribly fearful.
Yeah. Well, imagine the people who were abused during childhood, how much more fear and echoes of fear they carry. It's no wonder they're on medication for anxieties and all sorts of stress factors. But the world has yet to learn that there is no pill that can teach you how to remain optimistic and how to restore hope in a shattered life. There's no pill can do that. Only the truth can do that.
That's right. Wonderful, David. Well, thank you today for your input, and we look forward to next session, everybody.
My pleasure. I hope it proves helpful. All truth must be useful, and all truth must be helpful, or if it's not true.
Awesome. Thanks, David.
Thank
See you all next session, everyone.